for all things Halloween. This is Hauntformer, and welcome back to yet another spooktacular and ghoulish video. I am here today to talk to you about Halloween Horror Nights 2020. Alright, I'm here to talk about Halloween Horror Nights. I've been meaning to do this for a while. There's a lot of speculation online about what mazes and scare zones and themes are to be coming to the 30th anniversary. Yeah, 30 years of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. So, this is a big year because 30 years obviously is important. When the 25th anniversary happened, they had a big spectacular with Jack the Clown and all that fun jazz. Of course, there's something on the back of my mind, and probably on yours too, you might want to get it off. That is that there is kind of a big deal going on right now, the coronavirus, COVID-19. Will that virus affect Halloween Horror Nights? It's a bit too early to say. As of now, Halloween Horror Nights has not changed anything. They're still scheduled to come out like normal. The event doesn't start until September in the fall, so that's still months away, so there's still time for the COVID-19 outbreak to go away. But keep that in mind in case something were to get canceled. This video obviously would be obsolete, but we're going to go along the assumption that it's still happening. There are so many different theories online as to what will be at Halloween Horror Nights, and I am not the biggest expert at this stuff. I've only been to Halloween Horror Nights once, but I'm hoping to be a regular as of now. Perhaps just the smell of fog is keeping me coming back, but regardless of your views on the attractions and the event, I love me a good speculative video, and this will be one of those. So sit down, put your thinking caps on, because we are going to discuss what mazes might be at Halloween Horror Nights. Before I jump in, these are not my original ideas. I have some maybe scattered in here, but most of these are from online, from different forums and theories and speculation maps that I have seen. I will put links in the description. Also, these are just speculations from years past, maybe things that have never gotten used before I've included. I'm mostly talking about the licensed, the character-based, the IP movie-based mazes. While they will have several original scare zones and original mazes, I feel like those just are randomly chosen by the Halloween Horror Nights team, and therefore my speculations will focus more on what specific characters in movies I think they will have. I know John Murdy has talked about doing a Mexican original, some sort of maybe Latin-based haunted house, whether that has to do with the Day of the Dead or the Chupacabra, I don't know, but that is definitely one of the originals sprinkled in these rumors. But we're going to talk about the licensed characters and or mazes. So I'm just going to go down a list and talk about the things that we are expected to see for this year. Up first is, of course, the anniversary itself, being 30 years of Halloween Horror Nights. There are theories online that state that because we got an anniversary house in the 25th anniversary year, that the same could be said for its 30th anniversary, perhaps bringing back some of the classic characters like Jack the Clown, and other icons that have been around in the history of Halloween Horror Nights. Maybe bringing back a lot of those characters for one big finale maze for 30 years would be pretty exciting, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got that. But in terms of licensed characters, the big one floating around this year is Beetlejuice. And honestly, I certainly could see that. As of last year, Horror Nights 29, you definitely saw the maze themes gravitating towards the nostalgic 80s, almost horror comedies, which isn't a bad thing per se, but definitely not as dark as previous years with like really gory stuff or really sinister things. You had stuff like Ghostbusters, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, movies that aren't necessarily strictly horror. They kind of dove into comedy, and Beetlejuice is a perfect example of that, a reason why I think it might be on the plate, on the menu for the 30th year. Another really popular one is Gremlins, which also falls into that same category of being kind of a horror movie, but kind of a comedy too, a more lighthearted one for sure. I would be so stoked to see Gremlins appear at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm a huge Gremlins fan, as most people probably are. How they would pull it off would be interesting to me. I know they sort of have a relationship with Trick or Treat Studios, a Halloween mask and decoration company that kind of supplies some of the products used in the haunts. They do have life-size gremlin puppets and characters that they could potentially use in the mazes and masks and all of that fun stuff. But to see a maze putting you in the world of Gremlins would just be a treat. I would so be down to see that, obviously. Another popular idea is bringing back the Universal Monsters. It seemed like the Universal Monsters were going to be a staple ongoing at Halloween Horror Nights. Many people, including myself, are big fans of those classic characters, and apparently John Murdy is too, seeing more of these classic characters brought into the 21st century. Last year at the Orlando location, we saw kind of what they did the year before with the Universal Monsters, putting them all in the same maze. And in California, they had the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman maze. And the theories as of this year are kind of on two. One idea is that they will do a Bride of Frankenstein maze, and the other is that they will do a Creature from the Black Lagoon themed maze. I also would like to throw in the idea, just perhaps, that they could do an Invisible Man maze because of the new Leigh Whannell film. Though, I'm not sure how you would get scared by something that's invisible, but that's up to the creative team, and any Universal monster is a monster of mine. So obviously I'd be down for that. Another idea, bringing back another used IP before, is bringing back Creepshow that appeared in California last year. Unfortunately, us here in Florida did not get that maze, and I'm trying to let that go. I'm trying to put that's in the past now. But maybe we'll see it in Orlando for 2020. I love Creepshow. I think we should have had it. I'm excited if we can get it. And maybe in California then, they will do Creepshow 2, maybe segments from the second film from the television Shudder series, using some of those segments from those episodes, and the remaining segments like the Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill from the original film. That would be really exciting. I love Creepshow. That would be a great maze, and it goes along with the lighthearted but also sinister tone that Halloween Horror Nights has been shifting towards, if you've noticed with the IPs. Another popular idea online is Candyman. Perhaps not the original, although that would be pretty cool, but the upcoming film set to release in September, produced by Jordan Peele. Obviously, Candyman is another one of those popular horror icons like Freddy, Jason, and Chucky. I feel like last year we kind of lacked that from Halloween Horror Nights. We didn't have an iconic character as the face of Horror Nights 29, and I feel like for Horror Nights 30 we need another face to go with the zones. Perhaps that's Jack again, or perhaps that's Candyman or some other IP that can be the staple of the year. But Candyman would be awesome. I would be so down to see that as a maze. Another popular, there's 3 popular classic horror films that have never seen the light of day at Halloween Horror Nights. And those are Hellraiser, Scream, and The Thing. Now, The Thing is the only exception. They did do a Thing maze back when the remake came out, but it wasn't based off of the original Carpenter film. Those 3 movies all deserve a shot at Halloween Horror Nights. A lot of people want to see these get made, especially The Thing, but also Scream and Hellraiser are very popular horror films that deserve a shot. And again, these movies, especially, with Pinhead and Ghostface, could also add to the roster of horror icons that appear during the event. You also have Stranger Things, bringing back Stranger Things again. I know the filming, the current production got pushed back, I think, for season 4, but Stranger Things has been, again, another popular series that has returned year after year at Halloween Horror Nights, and who's to say that it won't show up for its 3rd year? It was a good maze last year. It actually startled me, so I think bringing it back is a smart choice, and people seem to really enjoy the show, too. Another idea is Zombieland. If you remember, 2 years ago, there was a Killer Clowns Scare Zone. And then last year at Horror Nights 29, we got the Killer Clowns Maze. So, who's to say that we couldn't do the same thing with Zombieland? Last year getting the Scare Zone, this year getting the Maze. It would make sense. Again, goes along the lines of mixing comedy with horror, as they've been doing recently. But I think a lot of people are open to that and just want to have a fun time at the event. I don't see a problem with it, really. Though I have not seen Zombieland or Zombieland 2 yet. The Conjuring is another really popular idea floating around right now, especially because The Conjuring 3 is set to hit theaters in the fall. I would be stoked to see a Conjuring house, whether it's based off of the original or the sequel or any of the spin-offs with Annabelle or The Nun. Seeing those characters that are kind of big deals in the world of horror right now would be so sick at a maze at Halloween Horror Nights. Another popular idea is The Haunting of Hill House. Again, going with the Stranger Things kind of theme. Taking a Netflix show, translating it into a maze is very popular. It's a popular show, so who's to say that couldn't happen? And I'll throw one in. Black Mirror could be one that they could potentially throw in. And for that matter, The Twilight Zone. But I don't know if they're going to do that. The Adventures of Sabrina is yet another one. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They could have that too. That's not as appealing to me. I haven't really watched the show, but hey, there's a fan base out there for it. They would love to see this as a maze, so Universal, take notes. And finally, one that I saved for last and least, yes, and least, is Billie Eilish. I know we got the Rob Zombie Scare Zone, but to give Billie Eilish a maze at Halloween Horror Nights seems like overkill. If you want to have a scare zone with her music and some of the creepy things from her music videos, knock yourselves out. But I feel like with so many other options that we could do, you could bring back Michael Myers for Halloween Kills. You could bring back the Universal Monsters. You could put Scream, Hellraiser. Out of all of the things that we could have at Horror Nights, we pick Billie Eilish. That's a no from me, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who really wants to see it, so have at it, have hog heaven. Anyways, all that being said, those are the biggest predictions as of now for Halloween Horror Nights 30. But you know what? These are all still in the air. It's all still speculation. So your favorite picks from this video, and maybe ones that I forgot to mention, leave in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see at the event. And thank you for watching. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I do Halloween and horror-themed videos all year round, so you won't want to miss it. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.